and welcome to Nini's house. I have this beautiful old quilt, and as you can see, it's pretty badly damaged. It's got a big old hole in it. I got it at an old junk shop for I think about $5, but it is so pretty, so colorful that I knew that I could use it for something. I really want to use it to make some type of pretty Christmas or wintertime door hanging for my front door. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to use the quilt to make some mittens, and I'm also going to use a bunch of things from the Dollar Tree to complete the rest of the door hanging. And right now I'm just trying to find the good placement, find the best colors for my mittens. I'll need 4 pieces cut out, 2 fronts and 2 backs. And here are my 4 pieces. I have a variety of pieces. I really like the blue, but of course the red and the green is very traditional Christmas in a sort of untraditional way. This quilt top is all polyester fabrics, so it's different in that way, and the prints are also very 70s. I've pinned the fronts and backs together to make a pair of mittens. I am thinking that I probably will use this as the front sides because the colors just match. They're almost exactly the same, even though I do like the blue a lot, but I really don't like the other mitten that I would have to use to go with the blue. So I'm going to stick with the red and the green as my fronts. I also think that I'd like to add some trim to the mittens, at least along the top for a cuff. So I'm just going through my little stash of trims here to see some things that might work. After digging through, I found a few things that I'm going to try out. I like this sort of fuzzy furry trim. I think it looks really cute, maybe doubled up here for a cuff, sort of like Santa's mittens. I'm still trying to convince myself to use this side of the mittens because I really do like that blue. Here's a ruffle trim that also looks cute, but I think too springy, not winter enough. And here's an eyelet that I could fold over and use as trim on the top, but I think it's too narrow once it's folded like that, though it does look kind of cute with the black and white. While I think about what I'm going to trim the cuff with, I also have some narrow trim pieces, some cotton lace that I'd like to add to the lower part of the mittens. Just little bits of trim here and there. I think I'll add a couple of pieces probably to each glove. Now that I am comparing them side by side, I really do like the fuzzy trim best for the cuff, so I'm definitely going to use that. And this is what I've decided to do with the front of the mittens. I chose the red and green, and I'm going to put a little bit of the cotton lace pieces on the front and one of those big flowers on each of the lower portion. And then I'm going to put a double row of the fuzzy trim at the top all around the cuff, front and back of each one. And here they are completed. I think they look really cute. I just stitched around the outside edge of the mittens. I didn't try to turn them inside out or anything like that. I like the rough edges. I like the furry trim. I think they look really cute. I left the top of each mitten open to form a sort of a pocket. I got some artificial flowers and some pine cones and greenery from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to make some little bouquets to stick into the top of the mittens. I also got a few more things from the Dollar Tree to use in my project. I got some of this wired twine that I can use to make some little curly cues for my arrangements. I found this pretty dark red burlap ribbon that I'm going to make a bow with. I hope it will be enough, a ribbon to make a bow. If not, I also have this pretty Christmas ribbon in my stash that I can use. I think it's not the right color, but I do have it just in case. I got these gold jingle bells that I want to use also to hang down from the bow, and I have this red ribbon in my stash that I can use to hang the jingle bells from. I found these really cute solar lights at the Dollar Tree. I got them. I want to use them also hanging down from the bow in between the mittens. They might be kind of big, but I hope they'll work. I think they're really cute. I have some twine in my stash that I am planning to use to hang these lights from. And of course, there's no telling what else I can find in my stash to use. It will be a little difficult to show you my process because my work desk is so small. I wanted to show you here in different angles so that you can see. And of course, there's a stash of things on the left side, another project that I'm working on. But my desk is only about 2 feet deep, and so I don't have very much room. So I won't be able to show you the whole project as I am working on it, but I will show you as much as possible. The first thing I'm going to make is the bow, and I had started making it off camera, and then I thought you might want to see how to make a bow. I was a florist for many years, so I've made hundreds of bows in my lifetime. And this is a wired ribbon, so it's really easy to make a bow with a wired ribbon. I like to start off by leaving a tail, and because this ribbon is the same on both sides, you don't have to twist it to start each loop, but I like to twist it. I think it makes the loops puffier. So that's what I'm doing. I'm twisting it, making my loop, and I want this loop to be about 5 inches long. Then I'm going to twist again and make a loop on the opposite side the same size, 5 inches. And that's not exactly right, so I just adjusted it. Now it is right. I'm going to twist again and make a larger loop, about 6 or 6.5 inches here. As I said, if your ribbon is the same front and back, you don't have to twist. You just simply can make your loops, but I prefer to twist it. I think that makes a puffier bow. I'm just making a big floppy bow. I don't have a lot of ribbon, so I'll just have 2 loops on each side, 2 long tails and 1 short tail. My ribbon, when I pulled it off of the roll, was in 2 pieces. So I have this extra piece over here that I'm going to make the other tail from. And I'm going to use a florist wire to secure all of the pieces together through the middle here. You can use wire, just a straight wire, but I have this wire on what's called a paddle because my niece is getting married in March and I'm going to be doing her flowers. So I just have some extra wire like this. And I'm sorry, but I'm going to get really shaky here. I have a trimmer in my hands, and whenever I have to do something tight like this, I get extra shaky. I'm just going to cut off a piece of the wire here to make it more manageable. And you want to pinch together all of your pieces of ribbon really tightly in the middle and then twist your wire around as tight as you can. Now, because of my arthritis and my trimmer, I can't twist the wire as tightly as I need to. See, I have a big gap here. So I'm going to use some pliers to help me with that. Just want to make sure that you get it as absolutely tight as you possibly can. And I'm going to leave these long pieces of wire to use to make a loop to hang the whole arrangement on my front door. I'll just fluff up the bow and straighten out the tails. I'm going to trim off this excess piece back here, and my bow is ready. If you wanted a larger bow, you just make more loops and it would be fine. I'm also going to cut a little notch in the ends of each of my tails. You could also just cut them at a slant, which I often do, but this time I want the notches. I just think it looks more Christmassy. Here is my bow, and here is the idea that I have in my head. I want to put a mitten on each side with the Christmas lights going down the center. I'm not sure if I'll use all three or maybe just two. And then I'm going to put some type of little flower arrangement in the top of each mitten. Here's what it would look like with the three lights, which is kind of cute. And I want to put the jingle bells hanging on some ribbon down through the middle also. I made one of the little arrangements off camera just so it wouldn't be so frustrating for y'all to watch how shaky I get. It was quite frustrating and it took me a while to do, but I like how it turned out. I think it's pretty, especially for Dollar Tree flowers. But that greenery, it drops those little white balls all over the place. I have them all in my hair and on my clothes. They're just everywhere. I am going to make one now on camera so you can see what I did. And I started out with two poinsettias, two pine cones, and two of the berries. When you're cutting your artificial stems apart, you don't want to use your scissors. You want to use wire cutters, and you want to make sure to cut the stem as far down as possible. You can always cut the excess off later. I didn't particularly like some of the leaves, so that's why I'm removing them. Some I'm leaving because they look okay. And I'm also going to use a bit of this greenery with the fake snow on it. I start out with my two largest flowers, my poinsettias, and I bent one down and left one straight. And then I added a tall pine cone and I bent one to make it shorter, a tall berry stem and a shorter berry stem. Then I'm just using the same wire that I used on the ribbon to wire this little bouquet together. It's just holding it together until I can get completely finished. Now I'm adding on that greenery, and you can see the little white balls all over my tabletop. And it was right about this time that I realized that that pine cone has gold glitter on it, and that pine cone does not. One of the stems of pine cones that I bought had the gold glitter. One stem did not. So I have some gold glitter paint, and I'll just add it to the pine cones that don't have any so that it all matches. Now I'm adding a bunch of hot glue to the stems where I wired them together so that everything will stay in place and nothing will slip. Even when they're wired, they can still slip up and down. If you need to adjust them, you can do that until you get them glued. And I'm just going to leave it that way until it dries. I have a few extra pieces in case I need some extra once I get them into the pockets. While I was looking for a thinner red ribbon, I found this whole bag full of Christmassy ribbon and trim. And so I'm going to use this red cording that I found. It was on this spool in that bag. I'm going to use that for my jingle bells instead of that wider red ribbon. I'm just threading the end through the top of the jingle bell, pulling it through with my tweezers when I need to. On this one, I didn't need to. It worked perfectly fine, went through easily. Then I just hold together the two pieces of cording and wrap it with wire and add a little glue, just like on the flowers. I did that to each bell, and I also cut each piece of cording a different length so that my bells will hang at different lengths in my arrangement. Now I have to clean up more of these white balls. They are just everywhere. I've carried them all through the house on my clothes. Here are my completed mittens again, and I decided they were just way too big, so I cut them down. And when I was looking through that ribbon stash, I also found this bag of red and green buttons. So I'm going to add a few buttons to my mittens also. Here is what they will look like with the little flower arrangements in them. And the arrangements may be too big. I'll have to decide when I put everything together. I hung everything here on my craft room door so that I could see what it was going to look like. I've been working with it quite a while, and I think I like this arrangement best, but some things are still not quite right. And here is the completed hanger on my front door. As you can see, I added some curlicues to the bow, and I decided to hang the mittens directly on the ribbon tails. It just looked better that way. The ribbon seemed to get in the way if they were separate, and it holds the mittens up better. I did add all 3 lights and 3 of the jingle bells, along with a little extra twine. I did have to remove one of the poinsettias and a little bit of the greenery to make it look more proportional. But I really like the way it turned out. It looks really pretty on my front door, and it brightens up my little front porch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and that you'll come back soon.